Welcome back to Panel Days Superheroes Ahoy. My name is Tushar. So today there is a Panel Days does manga session. It's like a talk session. So a lot has been going on in terms of the content on my channel. So it's all over the place. I started with some English based reviews done in English, and I started with doing Hindi comics. Then I keep oscillating between English and Hindi comic books, and Hindi comic books really fascinated me. They still do, and and then I think somewhere along the way I kept hearing about manga, manga, and as I have said before, I have not been into collecting manga or reading them much. I just have read few titles uh, pretty earlier, almost around a decade back, like Lone Wolf and Cub, Death Note, and few other books. Uh, and I used to buy these manga compilations, and I know that's a very lame thing to do, but yeah, I used to get a feel of what mangas. I think it used to be some competition, and they used to compile the best works in there. But I didn't know what the medium was, and yeah, that's about it. And anime, I have seen on and off, and obviously time is short, so everything can't be done. So I've not been much into manga, anime, or gaming as such. But yeah, since I got into, I think what happens is once you get into a visual medium, let's say you get into gaming or you get into a certain type of art, your senses start responding to that medium a lot more, and you start living in that world of images. And I think that's the same way it is with any type of books or any type of arts, I guess. So you start understanding the mechanism, the instruments of the medium. And I think I'm not saying that I have got heavily into manga, but I think I've started enjoying what it is to pick up a book of manga and just get through the pages and really get the uh, get the joy, right? Like which anyone who's heavily into manga would. So yeah, I have some books here. So the reason I have just put these books here is I keep seeing a lot of videos around what's the best approach to manga, and I think everything is fair. Everyone has made fair points in terms of that you don't just go into a blind hoarding and blindly collecting mangas which are popular and famous. You Yeah, so you take your time essentially. So if there is I think yeah, if you want people who try to get into manga, who are wanting to get into manga, they look at the top or the best sellers, the mangas that are doing best. Let's say if I were to say what are the 10 classically good manga books that I should have, and I think 10 is a small number. So then which are the 10 underrated ones, and which are the 10 more controversial ones, most controversial ones? And I think there is a whole lot of those, Gantz, Berserk, and so on. So I've done that amount of research. It's not much, but I think it's always fun researching about a medium, and I think sometimes we do tend to do that more than the actual reading of the book. And I think that's another thing I don't want to get into. But yeah, so what I did was totally, and I think there are do's and don'ts, and I think I did the don'ts where I just went crazy. I didn't go crazy in terms of collecting the books, but in terms of making a wish list and picking up some volumes here and there and reading some books online. And I think online was a great help because I could just take something which was free on Kindle Unlimited and go through it. And I think there are a certain amount of books that are there. I think Attack on Titan, lot of books are free on digital, and then similar for Spy Family, and so on. So yeah, so in my very short manga reading history, these are the kind of books that I've liked. So I really don't understand the categories, like yeah, I know categories do exist for a reason. Like Shonen Jump is supposedly to be obsessed over by someone like a male teen, and then there is similar categories. So um, I don't try to put that, like if you say that superhero movies are just for kids, so then what are we doing here? I mean, if I read comic books, then I have always hated that comic books are a child, thing to do. So yeah. So coming back to that, I mean, one thing I have learned is don't go with what others are telling you in manga. You pick up a book, you get a few volumes, maybe pick up some cheap copies, pick up some used or pre-read books, and just go through it as a reader. Don't really think of it as this is a very popular manga and I should like it, I should like One Piece, or whatever the titles are. For example, I didn't like Berserk. I mean, there is quite a few books that I didn't like, and I think every reader is different. We have a certain upbringing, and a certain upbringing in terms of reading, in terms of responding to things like films, books, and art, and something that connects to you, that resonates with you, will not resonate with the other person. So, having said that, I have few favorites. Like Ultraman is something I really love. Obviously, I can't afford everything, but Ultraman I've read I think 3 or 4 books, and I saw the anime, and there's a lot of content, and Ultraman has a certain retro charm to it as well, and maybe it appeals to me because of that, because it was an 80s cartoon and it got resurrected, and there's a very good show that is there on Netflix now. There was also a film made, I think, back in 2016. But yeah, the Ultraman books are very, what I would say, very classy. I don't know if it makes sense to say that, but the art is very minimal, and I would say it would remind you of Akira, or works like that, where very definite art, and there's very expressive faces, and there's obviously the add-on factor of science fiction and these Iron Man type suits. So Ultraman is a very good success, and something I really enjoyed. Success in terms of my collection. One Punch Man is another something that I liked a lot, uh, because of the humor, and the art is also uh, very kinetic. One Punch Man is again something that I really liked and looked to collect and see when I can get it, when it's available for cheap. Demon Slayer, I'm still a little mixed about it, but again, the art just the art is like very cool. Demon Slayer, I think one of the better titles that I have, and there is a book of Uzumaki. There's Junji Ito's few books, but I have given them out, so I can't show them. But I really like Junji Ito's books, and Uzumaki, I had made a video on that before, so you can check it out. And there is another, I think Tomi is the one I'm reading in digital right now, and it gets heavy, so it's good to, those are not the books you can finish in one go. You keep going to them sometimes when you're in a mood to read something dark. The reason I was saying is that you can't judge a book by its cover, you can't judge a manga by its cover, was when I picked up Chainsaw Man, and how there was so many controversies around it, that it glorifies gore and violence, and it's really kiddish, and it's really cheap at times. But after I read a good 3 4 books of Chainsaw Man, I started understanding the themes. I mean, it's just what I feel. I think it's about growing up. It's about the silly things that happen while growing up, and those are the larger themes that emerge out of it. And I think that's why medium like manga, it's so fascinating, because you can't just say, okay, there's a guy that grows a chainsaw, and there's demons and devils, and all sort of concepts that I'm seeing recurring in the different manga books, and you're supposed to be fine with everything. And I think it's a brilliant and imaginative universe that mangas create. I think uh, about ghouls, monsters, devils, and it becomes a part of the life. And I think same is with Tokyo Ghoul. I think I didn't enjoy it as much as some of the other books, but yeah. So this is Jujutsu Kaisen, again something that I really enjoy. So this book also I liked a lot, and the anime is also fun. And again, Assassination Classroom, yet to get into it. Sometimes I just pick up books which are really cheap in the dollar box, and this is Ninja Slayer. That I think I had made a video on this, and I think someone said that I was really lucky to get my hands on it, and it's an original volume. It's the original short book format, and yeah. So and I read it and quite liked it. It's just robots being badass, and yeah, that's about the manga books that I wanted to talk about. I know there's a lot of rules of manga that you should not buy pirated copies. You should not. You should only look for original. But I think ultimately it's about your reading experience, right? Unless you're not doing something criminal, I think whatever way you get the books, it's ultimately about your reading experience. You read it digital, you read it on an original book, you read it in a hardbound. Ultimately, I think reading is what matters. And if you're really enjoying the manga and spreading the word around it about it, then I think it's worth it. So yeah, that's about my manga journey so far. I thought I will share my views on it, and it's not possible to cover every book that I'm reading, and also, as you all know, manga is a really expensive hobby. So yeah, on and off I'll try to cover some stuff, some content on manga. So thank you for watching Panel Days. This is Panel Days Does Manga, and this is me signing off, and see you in the next video.